Help me reach 1,000 subscribers. The night started like any other weekend gathering, laughter echoing through the house, music humming in the background, and the unmistakable clink of wine glasses. We'd invited a few friends over, along with our new neighbor Ryan, a confident, easygoing guy who had recently moved into the house across the street. Megan, my wife, was in rare form that evening, full of jokes, teasing everyone, especially me. She poked fun at my old truck, my job, even my dad. Normally I played along. That playful, spirited side of her was one of the things I loved most. But then, somewhere between the laughter and the second bottle of wine, she said something that cut deeper than she realized. "Maybe I should trade you in for a better man," she joked, glancing at Ryan with that mischievous spark in her eyes. Everyone burst out laughing, including Ryan, who raised his glass and replied, "Careful, I might just take that offer." The table erupted again, and though I smiled, something in the air shifted. That moment, that brief, knowing look they shared, stayed with me long after the laughter faded. Later that night, as we cleaned up, I brought it up casually. "Funny joke tonight," I said, trying to sound lighthearted. She rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on, don't be so sensitive. It was just harmless fun." "Yeah," I said softly. "Maybe it was." But over the next few days, things didn't feel the same. Ryan started showing up more often, once to return a ladder, another time claiming our mail had been mixed up, and sometimes just to check in. And Megan, she seemed to glow around him. The way she laughed, the way her eyes lit up, it was different. Not forced, not polite, just different. One afternoon, I came home earlier than usual and saw them sitting on the porch, 2 glasses in hand, the late sun painting them in gold. They looked too comfortable, too familiar. When Megan noticed me, she jumped up, almost startled. "Oh, Ryan was just dropping by for a chat," she said quickly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. That night I couldn't sleep. The image of them sitting there wouldn't leave my mind. I told myself I was overreacting, that good husbands trust their wives, that I was just tired, maybe even jealous. But deep down I knew better. Sometimes your gut whispers the truth long before your heart is ready to hear it. A few nights later, while fixing a leak under the kitchen sink, I heard her voice from the living room. It was soft, playful, almost flirtatious. "No, you can't say that," she giggled. "What if he hears?" My chest tightened. I froze, listening as fragments of the conversation drifted through. A man's name, her laughter, a silence that spoke louder than words. When I walked into the room, she was on the couch, pretending to scroll her phone. "Who was that?" I asked. "Just Jenna from work," she said too quickly, avoiding my eyes. I nodded, pretending to buy it, but inside something broke. I didn't need to ask again. I already knew. 2 days later, the truth arrived on my doorstep. Literally. It was Saturday morning. I opened the door to find Ryan standing there, holding a coffee cup and wearing that same easy grin. "Hey man," he said. "Is Megan home?" She told me I could stop by. For a second I just looked at him, calm, almost detached. Then I stepped aside and said, "Sure. Come on in." He hesitated, clearly not expecting that. Megan appeared at the end of the hallway, her face draining of color the instant she saw him. Silence filled the room like fog. Heavy, suffocating, undeniable. "Looks like you took her joke seriously," I said quietly. Ryan's grin faltered. Megan's eyes welled up. No one said a word. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just grabbed my keys, walked past them and said, "You two can finish the joke." As I walked out into the sunlight, I heard her start to cry. But the sound felt distant, like it belonged to another life. The woman I loved had made her choice. And it wasn't me. I drove aimlessly that day, letting the reality settle in piece by piece. Every laugh, every glance, every excuse, they all lined up now, forming a story I'd been too blind to see. When I finally came home that night, the house felt like a shell of what it once was. Megan sat on the couch, eyes swollen, makeup smudged, clutching a tissue. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she whispered. "It was just a joke at first." I looked at her for a long time before replying. "So was our marriage, I guess." She reached for my hand, desperate, trembling. I stepped back. I wasn't angry anymore. Just empty. I told her to pack a bag and stay somewhere else for a while. She begged me to talk, to forgive, to listen. But understanding doesn't rebuild what's been shattered. And forgiveness doesn't erase betrayal. A week later, Ryan moved out of the neighborhood. Word was he'd been transferred for work. Megan tried to reach out again and again, texts, calls, letters. I ignored everyone. The more she tried to explain, the clearer everything became. She hadn't just lost me. She'd lost the part of herself that I'd fallen in love with. The kind, loyal woman who valued respect and love above all else was gone. Months passed. Slowly, the silence in the house turned from painful to peaceful. I started jogging in the mornings, fixing things around the house, meeting new people. Life began to feel lighter. I learned something through it all. That betrayal doesn't always scream or break things. Sometimes it laughs. Sometimes it hides behind harmless jokes and easy smiles. And when it finally steps into the light, you realize that what you brushed off as nothing was the warning you should have never ignored. Because one day that joke might show up at your door, smiling, ready to take everything you thought would never be lost.